Now, with regards to the question of ballot paper printing, what I would like to say is that, firstly, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission is an independent commission. That means it cannot be directed by anyone to do anything. It means it cannot be controlled by anyone to do anything. Now, how we interpret that as a commission is to say, in everything that we do, we must always be guided by the law. So we start off from saying, what does the law say around ballot paper printing, for instance? The law expressly says the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission has the exclusive and sole mandate to design ballot paper, to print ballot paper, and to distribute ballot paper. So that is the legal position. The law is very clear. There are no grey areas. We had encouraged political parties during the time when the Electoral Amendment Bill was being debated in Parliament to say, look, there is no legislative framework for these requests that you're making to us to be made part of these process. So kindly go to Parliament and try and get these requests made part of the law. They did go to Parliament, if they want to be honest. They did try to get their requests made part of the law. It was debated in Parliament, and the parliamentary process, the legislative process itself, didn't work in their favour. So our position then was, look, we must be guided by the law, because we cannot be seen to be inventing arbitrary things which are not part of our law. The basic problem that we're having with certain requests is that where there is no legislative framework in place, it creates difficulty for us. But in the interest of transparency, we have said to political parties, I'll give an example, we have 55 political parties who successfully fielded candidates through the nomination court. So we've said, look, we accept and admit there's no legislative framework. You tried to get the law passed in Parliament, you failed. But in the interest of transparency, why don't you sit down as 55 political parties that are going to the election and try and reach consensus? So we know that there's one particular political party which has concerns. Why don't you table your concerns amongst your peers as 55 political parties? We do have what are called multi-party liaison committees, whose constitutional mandate is to build consensus around disputes pertaining to elections. Those multi-party liaison committees are chaired by Commissioner Dr. Moyo. So Commissioner Dr. Moyo convened a meeting where he was supposed to discuss the modalities with the political parties to say, what exactly is it would you like to see in the process of viewing the printing of the ballot paper or being included in the process. Before he could discuss the modalities, that meeting was disrupted, and commissioners actually had to vacate the room because of what was happening there. So this is now the bone of contention to say that the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission was not transparent because it allegedly didn't consult political parties. But in our defense, I would like to say we did go through the motions, we did set up meetings, but that meeting was disrupted, and as a result, we then had to proceed with printing, because the idea was parties would sit down, discuss modalities, and then they could be there when printing started. The reason why they were not actually there is because that meeting was disrupted, but we had a printing schedule which we had to stick to in order to be ready for the election day on the 30th. So we really couldn't wait for political parties to organize themselves. We started printing. However, 3 days into printing, Dr. Moyo then sent out invitations to political parties to say, please come. The parties that are complaining did not avail themselves at the meetings. No modalities were discussed. So the commissioner used his discretion, and that is now water under the